People come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hi, everyone. I was just wondering how many of you have a stage name. I know a few people who do. As a matter of fact, today's guest has a stage name. I didn't even know that until I invited him to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the real Marvin Bagsworth, Patrick Stedman. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
So why do you have a stage name?
I got involved in theater when I was in junior high school, which led into high school. And it ended up that I and my future wife got involved with the White Rock Players Club in White Rock, BC.
Right.
They have a very active amateur theater group there. So as teens, we got involved. And my parents were very conservative. And I was always in the background. You're not to be noticed, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I didn't want my name on a program.
Okay.
And so I came up with another name, which was Marvin Bagsworth.
Oh.
And then I started doing set design. And I called that Beehives Inc.
All right.
And I was informed that possibly there would be a problem using INC or even limited LTD down the road. So I dumped that and stuck with Marvin Bagsworth.
So how long were you and your wife involved in amateur theater?
In White Rock, probably 15 years. And actually, when we came to Chilliwack, we used to commute to White Rock to stay involved. And then that got a bit onerous.
Yeah.
So I used my theater background, etc., locally. Okay,
so when you were involved with the Players Guild in Chilliwack?
I did a few things with the Players Guild, but I taught. So as a fine arts teacher,
yeah,
I taught some drama classes, did productions. I did set design for some dance companies in Chilliwack. Mm-hmm. I still did set design for the Players Club from afar. I would go to some meetings. I had built a little model for them and go and see the finished product.
So was that your main source of income?
No, my income was as a teacher, high school teacher.
Oh, I didn't realize that. And where were you teaching high school?
I taught at Sardis Secondary School for 33 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
And what grades?
When I started in 1973, it was grade 8 to 12. Mm-hmm. And then they started doing middle schools, and it ended up being finally grade 10, 11, 12. And I always taught art and some drama.
Right.
And had a good time.
Yeah, sounds good. Especially those subjects, I think, right?
Yes.
And if children or young people are going to get into that, it's because that's stuff they want to do, not like some of the other subjects that they have to take, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Must have had some adventures.
It was a good experience. I had a good time. Always in mind that these are just kids. Yeah. They are allowed to do stupid things once. You know, learn from your mistakes, etc. But don't hold it against them.
Yeah.
They're energetic group.
Yeah.
And you feed off that energy.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that. Just thinking about when you said mistakes, I always think there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. It's when you give the tools to change it and you don't pick them up and use them. That's the problem, right? It's when you do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are the things? Did you have other hobbies?
Oh, back in 1973 when we came, there were swans that lived on Better Road.
Oh.
Mr. Hipwell, the druggist, had swans which he had acquired from Stanley Park a number of years before. Traffic was building on Better Road, and he wanted to get rid of them, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I bought them, and I put them over in DeRoche, across the river. Yeah. A friend had property there that had a lot of water, and we clipped their wings and we built a pair up to 13, a flock of 13.
Okay.
That was a hobby.
Yeah.
I broke my hip roller skating, supervising roller skating with the school.
Okay.
And that sort of put a crimp in lifestyle, as it were.
Yeah.
So I took up gardening. And I bought some property on Elk Mountain, and I turned it into a garden.
Very nice. That's
That
really
was
nice.
that was my exercise.
Yeah, sounds well, it's hard work gardening. It can be hard work.
A lot of putter.
Right.
Are you familiar with the Ryder Lake Ramble?
Yes, I used to live in Ryder Lake.
Well, my home is on the Ryder Lake Ramble.
Oh, I see. Okay. Very
It's one
good.
of the gardens.
Right.
One of the gardens. And a common concern to people would be, where do you find the time? And I said, I don't golf.
So now you mentioned White Rock. Is that where you're from originally?
Yes. I was born and raised in White Rock.
Okay.
Went to UBC, got hired by Chilliwack School District as soon as I graduated from UBC, and started teaching.
So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I started school at 5 years of age. I quit school at 55. It was the same time frame.
Right.
Summer holidays, Christmas holidays, Easter, summer holidays, Christmas holidays, Easter, a rhythm in one's life.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Do you ever see some of the students that you taught?
Oh, I bump into them all the time. I'm familiar with some on Facebook.
That's nice.
They're very complimentary.
That's
They
nice.
may not have been at the day, but down the road, they're very complimentary, sometimes somewhat embarrassingly so.
So what did your wife do? Was she in teaching as well?
Secretary.
Secretary at
She
school?
was a middle school secretary.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right. All right. Do you have children?
My wife has 2 children, a boy and a girl, who grew up in Chilliwack, grew up in Ryder Lake.
Were they involved in any kind of theater or any of those things that you and
No.
you and your wife did?
Well, daughter, yes, but son, he was into speed skating.
Oh, really? Eh? As like professionally?
No, Stardust Flyers. A speed skating group in Chilliwack. They use twin rinks.
I didn't even realize there was a group here in Chilliwack. That's really cool.
Oh yes, very active.
Yeah, because that's fun to watch.
Yes.
Like whenever there was the Winter Olympics, and speed skating was always one of the sports that I enjoyed watching for whatever reason.
Well, they did short track, which has a little bit of more danger to it because you're going awfully fast in tight corners.
Right.
A lot of crashing.
Right, yeah. But it's fascinating at the same time. I don't know why it's so fascinating, but it just seems to be, I don't know what it is I like about it. I can't explain it, but I really did like it, do watch it when I get a chance to see any of it. So what are you doing now currently? What are you up to?
Well, when I retired at 55, I was eligible. I had maxed out my pension time, as it were. I got asked to teach at Elder College,
right,
at University of Fraser Valley. And I did, then I got onto the curriculum board there. And we set curriculum, and I did that for 10 years.
Well, when you were teaching at the Elder College, what were you teaching?
I taught art history and drawing.
Okay, all right. So how did that work for you?
Oh, it was a good experience. It was fun. No marking, no discipline problems.
Yeah.
No parent-teacher interviews. Everybody was there for the right reasons, so-called.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be. It was good.
It was good, yeah. So now of course, with COVID, a lot of things have changed for a lot of people. If we ever get through this, what are your plans?
Well, I was on the board for the Heron Reserve. I did that for 4 years. When COVID came, I resigned. I, I done my bit there, as it were. And at the moment, I'm focusing on my grandchildren who live in Langley.
Right.
And with the COVID thing settling down, there'll be more opportunities to connect with them.
Yeah.
My wife passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I found I was in the house too much. I was ignoring the yard, the gardens, etc.
Yeah.
So I got a dog.
Right.
And I came to the realization that having a dog took you outside. But we had dogs before.
What kind of dog do
So-
you have now?
Labrador Retriever.
Oh, I love them.
Well, you need something big when you're living in the wilderness on
Yeah.
the mountain.
For sure.
We watch the bears in the field and things like that, right? So
Yes, yes. I remember, I lived on Houston, right near the hall, right?
I'm familiar with where you lived.
Yeah, pardon?
I'm familiar with where you lived.
Oh, okay. And I remember bears coming on the property and we were growing, what we were growing, I forget, corn or something. And it would really annoy me because they would take a bite and then discard the rest of it, you know? And I
Discard
thought, if you're going to take one, eat the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
And
such
then the deer,
Yeah, go ahead.
and then the deer come and graze.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with people up there who garden, and they would cover their garden to keep the deer away with chicken wire or something like
Yeah.
that, right? Just to keep
Yep.
them from eating everything. And it's not that you don't want to share. It's just because as they're walking through, they destroy plants, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, some people put up a 8-foot fence
Okay.
that
Yeah,
keeps
'cause
them out.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
Yeah.
the most attractive, but it's solves the problem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or a dog helps.
Yes, especially a big one.
When we didn't have a dog, my wife was using some product from Finland or somewhere like that the forestry people use, that they spray on things that keep the deer away.
Oh, okay.
And
So
it's sort of like gluish. It glues sticks so that it lasts through the weather.
Oh,
Doesn't wash away.
yeah.
Smells horrible.
So was something about the odor that they didn't like,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of fascinating too, right?
Because
Well,
they destroy roses
yeah, right. Okay.
big time.
And again, it's too bad because I mean they're beautiful animals, and
Mhm. Oh
uh,
yeah.
I think most of us love all the creatures, that especially if you're going to live in a place like Ryder Lake. You
Oh,
can't
for sure.
You cannot like nature if you're going to be there, right?
Absolutely not. And there's a lot of people, they have fruit trees that feed bears, and the deer eat that as well. And
Yeah.
they come to harvest.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you must have been involved in events at the hall up there.
Oh, yes, many.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been active since 1973.
All right. Do you remember the
As-
first? Sorry, go ahead.
As a teacher, I shied away from a lot of things. My wife would go, but purely didn't want to be. Students would be there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we didn't go to the dance because kids that you taught would be there. So
Oh, I see. Okay. Guys, I'm going to ask about that because my first winter up in Ryder Lake, like somebody said to me, "Oh, we never get bad storms here in Ryder Lake, or in Chilliwack." So my first winter, there was that storm in 1996
mhm.
that being in Ryder Lake, the power was off for a few days.
Yes,
Quite an exciting time, right? Then the power came back on in time for the New Year's Eve dance, then went off again the next day.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Now I know that Ryder Lake has changed in that some of the people from, say, Vancouver move up to Ryder Lake, and they don't have that same, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say it bad, but they don't have that, some of them don't have that same appreciation for the nature, and they build these huge mansions or whatever,
Yes.
Take up a lot of space for, like, why? You're only 2 people living in there. Do you have any kind of feedback on anything like that?
The community is always evolving, and one of the things that we appreciated when we came was it wasn't a subdivision with cookie cutter houses.
Right.
That here you had a manicured property next to a rough and tumble one, next to one that might have a mobile home on it or modular home. And then now you got some funky sort of log cabin, and it was a real grab bag of everything. Yes, we have some fairly large houses that are being built now. I have a neighbor who has a lovely home that they're selling, and real estate's attitude, oh, it's a tear down.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, the house, it's not.
Yeah.
But for someone to pay what the land is worth, they're going to tear the house down and build some monster showpiece.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting, you know. No, and if you know where I lived, we lived in a panaboat.
Yes.
Right. And like was a great place to be, you know. And then when that land, when it sold, I think was the second owner, not the one that bought it off of my husband and his ex and his first wife, but the other person that bought it. He stripped all the trees off of that hill that was part of the property.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Exposed that great big building.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened there, right?
Nobody knew that building was there.
But when they were there, now the people who bought that building, they were the ones that originally bought the house. And they had a grow op in there.
Oh, is that what there was?
And when they were busted at that time, it was one of the biggest grow ops in Chilliwack.
Goodness. Well, the building was well hidden because we drove by that for years and didn't know it existed. And then the logging happened and like, whoa. That was quite funny.
It was fun, and it was fun to think about things like that. Anyway, I think we're just about out of time, but this has kind of been fun. I appreciate you doing with this with me.
Okay.
But just stay on camera while I say goodbye to the audience. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Good talking with you, Nancy.
Thank you too. Just stay there for a second. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed me meeting Marvin, aka Peter, or the other way around, Peter Stedman. And I hope you watch the next show. And until then, peace out, everybody.
Peace.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.